What's up, guys? It's Austin from Yu-Gi-Oh! Theory, and today I have a deck profile for you guys for my Zefra. This deck is really fun. I've played it a decent amount. I've only had it for maybe a week and a half or two, but I haven't played it like a whole lot. I've been playing it. I played it at locals, like in between rounds and stuff. Like I played a few people, and it did really well, making really good going first boards, and it makes really strong going second boards with removal and some other things, but you can use a plethora of different monsters in the extra deck, link monsters, overlays, synchros, all kinds of stuff. Pretty much everything except for fusions, but it's just a really good deck overall, and it can make and Zefra is really powerful, being able to pendulum summon in excess. So let's just get right into the deck profile. This deck is fairly cheap besides the Electromite. I just happened to pull one. You can probably get it, the whole deck, except for Electromite, for maybe like $60. If you don't have an Electromite, that's fine. If you do, that's great. You can still play it without Electromite. It just definitely won't be as good. And you might want to cut down on some of the cards I'm running. But first, you run 3 Zefra. Zefra is like your boss monster. First, with this pendulum effect, during your main phase, you can add 1 Zefra pendulum monster from your deck to your pendulum zone, and then he becomes that scale. You can only activate his effect once per turn per his name, so you can't just like have 2 in hand and activate both of them to make like a complete scale. You can't do that. Then it's graveyard effect, or not graveyard effect, but when it's in the extra deck, you can tribute all monsters you control, including at least 3 Zefra monsters, special summon him out, and then you can pendulum summon in excess of what you can pendulum summon like an extra time. So it's like a brilliant fusion double summon type thing for pendulums, and it's a really good card in general. And it has 3450, which is a really big body, and it just does a lot for the deck in general, being able to complete your scales and stuff. Next, you run 3 Zefwani, Secret of the Yang Zing. This card's really good. You can search out Zefra Providence, Oracle of Zefra, 9 Pillars of the Yang Zing for like some counterplay. But his scale effect is you cannot pendulum summon monsters except Yang Zing and Zefra monsters with him. And then the bottom effect is whenever he's pendulum summoned or destroyed, you can add a Zefra or Yang Zing spell or trap card from your deck to your hand. You can only use this effect once per turn, and it's a hard once per turn, so you can't summon 2 and get 2 searches. It'd be nice if you could. Next, for monsters, you run 3 Astrograph Sorcerer. Astrograph Sorcerer is pretty self-explanatory because you're running 3 Wavering Eyes. You run Electromite. You run a plethora of different ways to get your things destroyed, and it's also a really good defensive card. Like, say your opponent destroys something of yours, you just special summon it and then add back. But basically, what it does is, like, anytime something is destroyed at all, like one of your cards is destroyed by any means, you can special summon it from your hand and then add 1 card from your deck to your hand. I think you target a card in your extra deck or your graveyard, and then you add a copy of it to your hand. I think it has to be a pendulum monster though. But and then it's scale effect is during your main phase. You can destroy him, and if you do, take 1 Stargazer Magician from your hand or deck and either place it in your pendulum zone or special summon it. And you're almost always going to special summon it because it's like a free Electromite. And his effect, that effect is a hard once per turn as well. Next, you run 3 Armageddonite. Armageddonite's really good. There's a really good combo in this where you summon Armageddonite, you send Destrudo, you half your life points, special summon it, you special summon, or you synchro for Yazi, Evil of the Yang Zing. At least I think that's it. I think it's Yazi. You use it to pop Yazi plus a card your opponent controls. And then you special summon Mare. Use its effect to make Mare tokens, which you make 3. 2 of the tokens you use to make Mistar Boy, and the Mare it's a tuner, so you use it plus another token to make a level 5 synchro. And then you use those 2 to link into Zefra Metaltron. It's a really good combo, and Armageddonite helps out a lot with that. Unfortunately, for the combo to go off, you have to go second. But it is a really good combo just because it doesn't take up your pendulum summon, so you can make him and then pendulum summon right after. So it's really good if you haven't done it and you draw it, like if you do go first and you haven't done the combo, you can do it like mid to late game and still do it, and you can do it over again because Armageddonite, not Armageddonite, but Destrudo just goes to the bottom of the deck, so if you have another Armageddon Knight, you can normal summon it, get Destrudo back, half your life points again. Unfortunately, you won't have the Mare still, but it can also go off, and you can do other level 7 synchros, but maybe at that point it's not really worth it. Next, you run 2 Zefra, Treasure of the Yangzing. Its scale effect is the same as the other one. Only Zefra and Yangzing monsters can be pendulum summoned off of him. And then if he's pendulum summoned or special summoned from the main deck, you can target one Yangzing or Zefra monster you control except him. Make it a tuner. And then when this card leaves the field, you put it on the bottom of the deck. So you can't just keep pendulum summoning it out over and over again and making things tuners. But it's really helpful. You can make Coral Dragon fairly easy in this deck. You can make level 7s pretty easy in this deck. Like you can make Ancient Fairy Dragon, for instance. Just a bunch of different cards you can make off of it. Next, you run 2 Abyss Actor Curtain Raiser, just for the Electromite plays. You just put it in your scale, and if you don't control any monsters, you can special summon it. So it's pretty good. What's really good is to draw this plus an Astrograph Sorcerer, because you can pop both of them to special summon stuff, but you want to do this one first since you have to have no monsters. It also works out that this is a scale 7, so it goes with the rest of the scales, the pendulum summon stuff. Same thing with Astrograph. It really goes well with the scales. Next, you run 1 Stellar Knight Zefra brand. I'm considering running him at 2 just because he is really good for popping face-up cards, just like really good. But whenever he's normal, flipped, or pendulum summon, you can target one other Stellar Knight or Zefra card in your monster zone or pendulum zone, and one face-up card your opponent controls, destroy them. Then you can only use his effect once per turn. Like I said, maybe running him at 2, but I might keep it at 1 still, because the drawback is that you have to pop some of your stuff. But if you have Astrograph Sorcerer in your hand, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you pop anything, because you're just going to get free advantage anyway. So maybe that's why I'd run it at 2. Next, run Ritual Beast Tamer Zefwinda. It's really good just for getting things back in your hand, so you can just like either normal summon them or pendulum summon them. What's a really good play is like say this is in your extra deck, just straight pendulum summon this from your hand, add this to your hand, normal summon it, and then you can make like an Electromite or something, and it's just really good. If that's like the only card you drew, like if you top decked it or something, or if you searched it, it's really good just for getting your plays going, sort of. Next, you run 1 Stellar Knight Zefraxiton. Him and him are pretty much exactly the same, except he pops face downs. That's the only difference. So, and he actually has attack. So the other one has 0 attack. It's kind of lame. Some of those Zefra monsters don't have any attack, which can get in the way of OTKing your opponent, because you'll have so many monsters, but some of them won't have any attack. So you have to make some rank 4s or something. But anyway, next you run the 1 Stargazer for the Astrograph. So pretty self-explanatory. The 1 Destrudo, and the 1 Mare. So you do run like 3 Garnets, but I actually don't find myself drawing them that often, so it's okay. And the combo that you do with them makes up for it heavily. So overall, it's just really good. So that's it for monsters. Next with spells, you run 3 Oracle of Zefra. So basically, you just activate it and add a Zefra monster from your deck to your hand. Then it has a bunch of different effects depending on if you Synchro, Summon, Fusion, or Xyz. So you ritual, you shuffle 1 monster on the field into the deck, so that's really good. Fusion, special summon a monster from your hand, it's really good. Synchro, choose 1 monster from your deck and place it on top of the deck. And Xyz, draw 1 card and discard 1 card. And you can only activate 1 Zefra, Oracle of Zefra per turn. So if you summon Ancient Fairy Dragon to pop Oracle of Zefra, you can't immediately activate the Oracle of Zefra, but it does give you a search next turn, which is nice. Then next you run 3 Zefra Providence. You activate it, you search any Zefra card directly to your hand. So you can search the field spell with it, which is usually a pretty good play. You'll activate this, search the field spell, get another monster search. That's if you don't already have the field spell in your hand. If you have both, you're in a really lit position because you can search 2 monsters to either A, complete your scales, or B, just get more monsters on the field. And then when it's in the graveyard, you can banish it to protect your monsters from being destroyed. Like, if they would be destroyed, you can banish it. Like, I've protected against a Regeki once. I protected against a Dark Hole. I protected against individual destruction effects, which was really nice. It comes in really clutch. Next, you run 3 Terraforming. I mean, why wouldn't you run a searchable way to get a search? So 3 Terraforming just helps you see that Oracle of Zefra more often. And it's just really good overall. Next, 3 Wavering Eyes. I'm thinking about maybe bumping this down to 2 because sometimes I don't want to pop my skills because might not have an Astrograph Sorcerer, but for now I'm going to play it at 3 just because it is a really good card and it does come in clutch often, especially if you're going second and you're playing Paleozoic. You activate this, and if they have some in the pendulum scales, it pops those too, which is really nice. Next, I run 1 Twin Twister. I don't have a Cosmic Cyclone, so I don't really run it, but if you have a Cosmic Cyclone, probably run it over Twin Twisters just because you don't really want to be discarding things unless you drew like an extra Armageddon Knight or something, but there's not very many things you want to discard. And then next, the 1 Upstart, play 38 cards, self-explanatory. 1 Dark Hole, if you have a Regeki, play it, but I'm broke, so I don't. That's it for spells. Well, let's go on to traps. First for traps, just the Solemn Brigade, 2 strikes, 1 warning. That's just the ratio I like playing. It's really good for stopping a bunch of different stuff. 1 9 Pillars of the Yang Zing. It's pretty much the same, except you have to control the Yang Zing monster. So either the Treasure of the Yang Zing guy or Zefwani. So you have to control Zefraxi or Zefwani to get this off. So it is kind of situational, but usually you can search it. So that's nice. Then 1 Zefra War. What you do is you pop a Zefra monster and you pop a monster your opponent controls. I think if you control, let's see. No, it can be a Zefra card, so you can pop the field spell, and you can pop any card your opponent controls. And then if you have 2 Zefra cards in your Pendulum zones, you can activate this card from your hand, and you can only activate 1 per turn. But only run 1 just because popping is nice, but you don't really want to pop your own stuff again. But yeah, that's it with the main deck. Now for the extra deck. I play 1 Electromite, but I only have 1, so if you have a second one, definitely play a second one. Because it is really broken in any Pendulum deck almost, except for maybe like a Morphages. That's about the only thing I can think of. 1 with Starboy for the Mare play, 1 Proxy Dragon just because it's Proxy Dragon, 1 Underclock Taker just because it's an Underclock Taker, 2 Zephyr Metaltron. I have a second one somewhere, I just cannot find it. I think I dropped it or something. I gotta look under my bed. 1 Decode Talker. Decode Talker's just really good. You can run a bunch of different other links. I just don't have them. Like you could run Borload in here. You can bring it out pretty easy. Just because, and Saryuja, you can bring it out pretty easy too. I'm just broke, so I don't have any of those. Next, Ancient Fairy Dragon. Really good just to pop your own scale and then search another copy and then get a search for a monster next turn. Black Rose Dragon. It's okay. I just don't really have a better level 7. So if you do run it, Omega, you hardly ever bring this out. You can bring it out with Time Pendulum Graph or whatever, Time Gazer. And since it is special summonable from the deck, I see it worth playing because you can make it sometimes, but sometimes you can't. So, but that's it. 1 Babushka. I'm probably gonna put in a different rank 4 or another rank 4. And I think this is only like 10 cards, so there's definitely room for improvement. Like you can put a Photon Strike Bouncer, a Coral Dragon. Coral Dragon's really good in this deck because you can make it pretty easy. Just a bunch of different cards you could add. But for now, this is all I have to play with. But I'm definitely going to order some new cards for them in the future and get some better cards. By the way, I'm doing a box opening of Extreme Force Special Edition. I'm going to do like a whole case. So be looking out for that. It'll be like sometime at the end of this week. I still got to wait for it to come in. I ordered it like last Friday or so. So I'm still waiting for it to come in. But anyway, yeah, be on the lookout for that. So if you enjoyed the deck profile, please like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. And I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.